On a beautiful late November Saturday afternoon, we welcome you to Bryant-Denny Stadium on the campus of the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. This, the 77th playing of the Iron Bowl, a bitter in-state rivalry. And it features Auburn and Alabama. We welcome you to the Home Depot SEC on CBS. The Tigers come in 3-8, and the Crimson Tide 10-1. A look at the current SEC West standings, simple to explain. If Alabama wins today, they go to Atlanta and they meet Georgia for the SEC championship next Saturday afternoon. But their defending championship aspirations received a resuscitation late last Saturday night. Jordan Williamson's 37-yard field goal gave Stanford a win over Oregon. Earlier, Baylor had knocked off Kansas State. And a reflection of the current BCS standings show what is available now for Alabama. Notre Dame, of course, plays at Southern Cal tonight. Alabama, by winning 3, can defend the national title. Georgia very much in the mix, and then you see the remainder of the current BCS standings. Good afternoon, everybody. Vern Lundquist along with Gary Danielson. What a game this is, and what happened last Saturday night?
It's college football, right? I mean, that's what we do. You see the pressure of being number one. We left here 2 weeks ago. Everybody had the long faces, right? Oh, how are they ever going to climb back? We just got here last year with some miraculous vote. It's not going to happen again. And now all of a sudden the target shifts to somebody else, and Alabama's right back into it, and they feel like they got a breath of new fresh air. I mean, this is too good to be true around here, I guess.
Tactically, Gary, how do they go about this one?
I think it's pretty simple. I really do. I think Alabama's going to go back to basics. The strength of their football team is their offensive line, and that means they'll go back to featuring a physical, smash-mouth running football game behind Lacey and TJ Yeldon. From there, the play-action pass game and A.J. McCarron can really take control of the game. I think Bama goes back to basics.
This has been an awful year for Auburn. 3-8 coming in, maybe the worst year since 1950. And this awfulness was exacerbated by a rash of headlines in the middle of this week. Allegations of recruiting violations that first surfaced in the middle of October. But as if they needed this, Gene Chizik already under the gun, the team 3-8 having a terrible year. What kind of a mindset do they have?
Vern, it's hard almost for me to put it into words. I mean, college football is so important in this part of the country, and these kids that have been recruited to these top universities, I mean, they've dreamed their whole life of getting up here. And now these Auburn football players who played in the championship just 2 years ago, to have one of the worst records in the history of Auburn football, I don't think any of us can imagine exactly where their heads are right now.
Is there any way they can be competitive in this game?
Well, it's going to take a number of odds to break their way, but I think if they're going to start anywhere, I think they have to start at the defensive line. That's where most of their playing experience lies. And interestingly, in the matchup, that's where they need it against Alabama. If they can stop or slow down that run just enough, maybe Alabama gets a bit frustrated. But then the second part of the formula, you've got to have a hot quarterback. We saw that with LSU. We saw that with Johnny Manziel at Texas A&M. This is a very young player. Could they get a hot quarterback today? That's their only hope.
He is making his first road start, and it comes in the Iron Bowl. We'll be back in a moment. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by New York Life Insurance Company, Zales, Nissan, and by The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. The Alabama Crimson Tide, a football team forged with a foundation of iron. The Auburn Tigers, a team in turmoil, but with a fire to salvage its season. Fire and iron, the bedrock of a century-old rivalry between the most bitter of antagonists.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It is
Today, Alabama competes with a championship berth in the balance, while Auburn plays for pride and redemption. 3 hours of football, 2 teams, 1 state together. This is the 77th Iron Bowl. And it is a beautiful day as Auburn gets set to take on the Crimson Tide. Moments ago, Tracy Wolfson with Auburn coach Gene Chizik.
Coach, it's been a disappointing season, but this is the Iron Bowl. So how do you make sure your team puts all of that aside and focuses on the importance of this one?
Well, they know it's the Iron Bowl. They know that in this state, this is the game. We've had a great week of practice. We got to go out and compete and have fun today. We're playing against a great football team. We got to let it go.
Well, you mentioned it. It's going to be a challenge today. How big of a challenge, though, for you will it be to keep your guys focused for all 60 minutes and keep them believing?
Well, I don't think that's going to be a problem because we've been in this game. Our seniors have been in this game 4 times now. It's gone back and forth a bunch of different times. They know how this game can unfold. We're just going to keep playing.
Thanks a lot and good luck. Vern?
Tracy, thank you. Cold front moved through here yesterday and lowered the temperature. So at kickoffs, 53 degrees, but only a slight breeze in the forecast. No rain. Series history. Alabama leads it 41-34-1. Road team is 9-4 in the last 13, and the game, as I think most of you know, was not played from 1908 to 1947. Just a little side note, Auburn is 7-1 in games played in Tuscaloosa. The first in 1895, the second in 1915, and they have won all but one played here in this century. This is Cyrus Jones, and for the 33rd time this year out of 48 kicks, Cody Parkey sends it through the end zone for a touchback. The Chick-fil-A starting lineups. And let's begin, Gary, with A.J. McCarron.
Well, I don't think he's had his greatest 2 games, the last couple that we've seen him against LSU and Texas A&M, but he finished like a champion in both of those games. Let's see if he kind of refocuses as he gets a kind of a dash for the national championship now.
Alabama did win the toss, and they did not defer. They elected to receive to open the game. First down 10 from the 25. Out of the gun, McCarron left side, caught. Michael Williams, one of the 9 seniors on this team. Offensively, let's check the offensive line. Quanjo Warmack might be the best of the bunch, and this is an outstanding line. And they'll go quickly. See Cooper Williams, Lacey Norwood, and Christian Jones. This is Eddie Lacy. First down, Alabama.
Well, it started out a little bit of an up-tempo for Alabama. This time ran right behind Barrett Jones and Chance Warmack. That's a pretty good way to run the football.
Now McCarron will look over at the Alabama sideline. Lacey on the sweep left. Quanjo with a bit of a block, and Lacey gets around the corner near the 40. Defensively for Auburn, and this is a defense that is giving up 415 yards per game. Ford, Blackson, Gabe Wright, Nosa Igwe, Evans, Jake Holland, Darren Bates having a very solid season, leading tackler on the team. Holsey, Whitehead, Smith, and Davis in the secondary. Lacey again. Left side again, working with Warmack and Quanjo over on the left side.
Well, when you play a Nick Saban coach team, it kind of resembles the strategy of an NFL football game. We were talking to Nick about that on, what was it, Friday this week? Right?
Yes.
Just yesterday, right?
Seems so long ago.
Yeah,
right?
the holiday throws you off. And in his mind, it's been 3rd down conversions, both for and against, that has been the difference of how they need to get better at on both sides.
3rd and 2 here. Lacey got it. First down of this drive.
Well, to start this season, everybody thought the strength of this Alabama football team was their offensive line. They had 3 candidates for the Outland Award, and everyone thought that that's how they build their team. Seems like they got away from it a bit. I think they're going to refocus there. Now, they got a great quarterback. He came through at the end. Of course, that last interception against A&M was a tough one, but he did play well in the 4th quarter.
McCarron, that one's batted down in the line. That was Angelo Blackson, number 98, who got a hand up.
And that line, Gabe Wright, Dee Ford, Craig Sanders, Corey Leminer, they've played a lot of football. You know, there's going to be no backup up there. They have to get at least a tie up front.
Christian Jones, Kevin Norwood are to the right side on 2nd down and 10. Flag.
Yeah, I think Alabama moved there. Was it Fluker?
If they call 76.
Yeah, it's a big fluke.
Yes. Yep. He's a large man. 6'6", 335. Matt Moore is our referee today.
False start. Number 76 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
This is an Alabama team not penalized that heavily over the course of the year. That's only the 47th, so under 5 per game. T.J. Yeldon is now in, the outstanding freshman. And again, Nick Saban has gone with the 2-back running back set, as he has for the last few years. And Lacey and Yeldon give him great expertise at that running back spot. Jones snaps it back. McCarron has to dance out to the right. Under pressure. Lets it go. Got him. Amari Cooper.
What a play. Darren Bates, number 25, took away the first throw. A.J. McCarron scrambles out and makes the play. Bates takes away the throw, but I think there's going to be a helmet-to-helmet on the end of this play. Oh.
That's to Sharvin Bell, number 22. I think you are right.
Carter. So, you know, the problem with this, and everybody's talking about it. I'm not the first guy to talk about this. The offensive player is lowering his head in anticipation of the hit.
First down.
And that's something they're going to have to look at. You're going in to make a tackle. The offensive player lowers his helmet, and that causes the above-the-head hit.
21 on the play gain, and then the penalty. And it's 1st down, 10 at the 21. Yeldon remains in. McCarron high, but caught by Amari Cooper. He is the leading receiver for the Crimson Tide, the true freshman. Jonathan Mincy with a tackle, and Cooper now with 42 catches for the season.
It's a tough for Auburn's defense. They took away the initial throw on the A.J. scramble, and then A.J. gets out of the pocket and makes the big play.
Out of the eye. It'll be Yeldon coming right. Gabe Wright.
Yes, he did.
With the tackle. Yeah.
Gabe Wright was all over that play.
Loss of 2. Take a look at the Alabama Verizon red zone stats.
But it's the one they didn't get is the one that they were worried about two weeks ago.
Yeah. Had a 1st down and goal at the 6-yard line against A&M and wound up throwing it on 1st down and ultimately throwing it on 4th down, and it was intercepted as the Aggies defeated Alabama here.
3rd and medium. It's become the game in college football.
Kenny Bell, top of the screen, wide to the left. Here comes a threatened blitz. They are not coming. McCarron into the end zone. Got a man momentarily. It's Norwood. Incomplete.
So was Norwood being held on the play? That's what it looks like.
There is a flag.
Looks like Jermaine Whitehead was holding Norwood on the play. I think he's right here.
Yep.
Yes, you can see the grab. Norwood's trying to get away from the play, and almost don't blame him on it. There was nobody behind him. Agee kind of threw it to the back of the end zone.
Pass interference. Number 9 on the defense. Penalty will take the ball to the 2-yard line. First down.
And you could almost, on home you can't see this, but as Gene Chizik reacts, all of the defensive linemen for Auburn also turn around and react and start yelling at their teammates to not make that play. They're also yelling at the officials. As Tracy asked Gene, it's focus and not getting ahead of yourself.
First down goal. Jesse Williams, the nose guard, is the lead blocker on this play. That's Vogler in motion to the left side. Follow Williams. Lacey does. Slips in untouched. Looked awfully easy.
2 big penalties, a scramble, and 2 third-down conversions.
Jeremy Shelley is a perfect 63 of 63 on place kicks. 10 of 10 on field goals, and a perfect 53 of 53 on extra point tries. 10 plays, 75 yards. Big play was a 21-yard catch and a penalty. The catch made by Amari Cooper, the penalty on to Sharvin Bell. Here is the touchdown. Lacey strolls in 7-7. NFL on CBS tomorrow. Lead game early. Denver, Peyton Manning at Kansas City. They've got 4 other games on the early docket, and the late game Baltimore at San Diego. That's the lineup tomorrow, and it all begins with JV, who's moved over to the middle of this quintet now. The NFL Today tomorrow, presented by Southwest Airlines. Was a quick striking Alabama offensive thrust to open the ball game. Kate Foster will kick off. Eddie Lacy, 4th rushing TD in each of the last 4 games. The ever dangerous Ontario McCaleb along with Quan Bray are deep for Auburn. McCaleb at the 2. Nice return out near the 24. Hammered. And let's introduce you now to the Chick-fil-A starting lineup offensively for Auburn. And a freshman making his first road start.
Well, he won't be surprised by anything, will he? I mean, he knows what Alabama has. He's only going to be facing one of the most sophisticated defense in college football, and Auburn has not been able to string together much offense. Kind of the work cut out for him.
Jonathan Wallace took over in the second half of an enormous disaster against Texas A&M. They gave up, Auburn did 63 points in that one, and he's been the starter ever since, replacing Kyle Frazier and Clint Mosley, both of whom had chances. This is Trey Mason. Mason needs 80 yards today to surpass 1,000 for the year. Tough challenge. Robinson, Sullen, Dismukes, Slade, and Miller, a very young offensive line. Emory Blake, the senior, leading receiver on the team with 47. Fultz, Posh, McCaleb, and Trevon Reed complete the starting lineup. They're in the eye. Prosh is the fullback. The toss to McCaleb coming left. Damian Square puts the plug in that one.
Well, one of the things, if you're going to move the ball, you can talk about all the quick shifts, the hot quarterback, all that stuff. But up front, you got to stay on your blocks. Now, you can get a block at the end man on the line of scrimmage, and you have Xavier Dixon just beat him that quickly. There's nothing going to work. That's the challenge. Shift motion, but you still have to block.
Loss of 1, 3rd and 8. Out of the gun, Wallace. Emery Blake.
Yeah, D. Milner did a good job. D. Milner, Emery Blake is a possession receiver, and D. Milner did not feel threatened at all. Got right in his pocket, was anticipating the comeback. Look at him turn around, and from the backside, kind of reaches around with his right hand to make the play.
Stephen Clark is on to punt, one of the bright spots for Auburn this year. He's had only 5 of 61 punts this season returned. And Auburn yielding less than a yard per return, in part because of Clark's expertise of knocking it high.
Yeah, that one was shanked.
Yeah.
Low.
Don't you know?
But it wasn't returned.
Curse works again.
Yes.
Gene Chizik. Embattled, you might say. Nick Saban. Not so much. Got a sports fan on your gift list? Avoid the crowds with CBSSports.com shop. Save big on all officially licensed clearance gear with an additional 20% off now at shop.cbssports.com.
This is a part of the game where Alabama likes to run those trick plays and go deep. Remember, it was a flea flicker to Kenny Bell last year.
And it'll be Yeldon, the freshman, to start this series. That is Kenny Bell, number 7, in motion. Auburn adjusts defensively. Play action, McCarron, deep left side. Double coverage.
That's what they like to do.
Yes, indeed. Good scouting.
Well, we've been here enough the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's true. McCarron for the year. Intercepted twice in the loss at home to A&M that ended a long streak. But great numbers. Marvin Shin, number 80, is on the field wide right. Yeldon. Corey Lemonier, number 55.
You know, I know they have Yeldon for 2 fumbles the last couple games. You know, that one was really A.J. McCarron. Bad handoff in the LSU game. I think it was just 1 fumble. It was a tough one, but, you know, to give him 2, quarterback had to take, even for me to say, had to take a good portion of that one.
Well, and you said it when it happened.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that it was McCarron at fault. But then Yeldon also had a fumble in the A&M game. The loss at home here, 29-24. 3rd down 4. Across the middle, got it. Christian Jones, number 22. Now let's go back, and Gary, you can explain what you mean on these fumbles.
Well, TJ took a lot of heat. There was a big fumble against A&M, but this one was, I think, a poor handoff. Not really his fault. Now, this is the one that was a tough one. Late in that football game, it really changed it. I think kind of the back and forth in that game. And I think that's why he's still out there playing. I think the coaching staff realizes his talent and that you can't put both of those on him.
Yeldon into this game with 809 yards on the ground. And between he and Lacey, better than 1,600 yards. McCarron?
Oh, dear. No, Kenny Bell that time had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
He was going downfield blocking.
Saw McCarron say that's on me. And Matt Moore.
And Kenny Bell.
Offside. Defense. Number 54. 5-yard penalty.
Wow.
Remains 1st down.
Whitaker lined up in the neutral zone. Kenny Bell did not get the hand signal or whatever. You could see he's downfield blocking. Look at his eyes go right to the bench. I was like, oh boy.
1st down 5. 7-0. Alabama scored in the opening drive. Play action. McCarron got him wide open. Amari Cooper. The starter at the beginning of the year at that spot was DeAndrew White. He went out with an injury, but at the time, and I don't mean to demean DeAndrew White, he was on the verge of losing his job to Amari Cooper.
Yeah, and Jonathan Mincy, that is a bail technique. Actually, that was the perfect play. Doug Nussmeier, the offensive coordinator, had the right play out at the right time. You're trying to fake the bump and run and bail out the zone, and you can't have a better pass on than that.
Good start from McCarron, now 5 of 7 for 58 yards.
Yep.
Throws it, drops it. I think Cooper probably should have had that.
Cooper right along the sidelines. The snap started out bad. The play was not there, and Cooper trying to get out of bounds quickly did not come up with the football first.
They've had injuries at the wide receiver spot, has Alabama. I mentioned DeAndrew White. Amari Cooper actually missed the second half of that game to win at LSU.
Yeah, and Vern, right now, the Auburn defense has to make a stand. They cannot let this game get out of hand. This is the one, the key down. They don't want to get 3rd and short.
Yeldon. Nice play then.
You know, just like Georgia ran Georgia Tech right out of the ballpark. As Tracy asked Gene, how do you keep focused? You keep focused by making it a close game. And early in this football game, you got to start making some plays. Blackson right there does a good job of defeating the block and making the play.
3rd down, 7. Jones and Cooper are near side. Kenny Bell flanked at the top of the screen. Auburn brings 4. Underneath crossing pattern, Kenny Bell, first down, 10-yard line. Knocked out of bounds by Tuscaloosa Bell. But Alabama continues to roll.
It's just what they call a little over route. Coming from the left side, coming underneath the zone defense. Bell just goes right across. A little bit of man coverage, I guess. I was having a tough time calling that man coverage. I think Bell's down, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
But I mean, that's just, you know, I hate to say it. I know Auburn's trying the best they can, but Bell dips his head again.
Yes.
And it's helmet to helmet, and this time he pays the price. Yeah.
Chiswick will make his way over to his fallen.
And, you know, Auburn needs some good news early in the football game. They need some big plays, a good play. And so far, they've had nothing. And then this just adds to it. One of the teammates going down.
Sharvin Bell, one of the seniors on this Auburn team. We will step aside.
Tim Brando with this Heisman Watch presented by Nissan. Braxton Miller led Ohio State to an undefeated season, though ineligible for the postseason. Here's his touchdown pass today against the Wolverines. Tonight, Johnny Manziel can boost his chances of coming to New York with an outstanding performance as the Aggies host Missouri, and Manti Te'o can really help the Irish punch their ticket to the BCS championship game with a victory against Southern California tonight. Back to Vern, Gary, and Tracy.
All right, Tim, thank you. And beautiful, beautiful Thanksgiving Saturday here. Sharvin Bell was assisted in his slow walk off the field. And it's a 1st down and goal with T.J. Yeldon, and Chris Davis, number 11, is on for Auburn. Yeldon. Caught and dropped as he makes the spin move. That's Darren Bates, number 25.
Tell you, Angela Blackson has started off with a good football game. Number 98, right in the middle of that defensive line. Kind of forcing it back. I think that's him. Might be, yes, I think he is. He beats Steen, forces it back, and then on the cutback, it's cleaned up. Good job by number 98, Blackson.
2nd down. Kevin Norwood goes wide to the left. Kelly Johnson is the H-back. There's a good block from Yeldon. McCarron, he might get in. No, he will not. And it'll be 3rd and goal. D. Ford and Jonathan Evans combined for the tackle.
First player taken away, comes back off of it. Nobody else to go to, and A.J. McCarron gets it to 3rd and goal.
And
very methodical.
Yeah,
It's
sure
been
is.
just one player after another.
That brings on Jesse Williams, the nose guard, number 54, and Vogler, the second tight end, that's number 84. Yeldon driving and scoring a touchdown.
Goes right behind big 54. Actually, it was 84 that time. Vogler that got the key block on the play, and he gets just to the plane and breaks it. I'm looking for 54 to make the block. It's 84.
Yeah.
Well, that was very methodical. 2 10-play drives, I believe, for both scores.
Carson Tinker, one of the 9 senior scholarship players, number 51, is on to snap it back. McCarron will hold, and Shelley remains perfect with extra point tries for the season. Methodical is absolutely perfect.
Yeah, and you know, this is starting to look like the way that Georgia did it to Auburn. The first 4 possessions at Georgia against Auburn, 4 touchdowns and 90 yards rushing in the first quarter.
.501 to go first quarter, 14-zip Alabama. Now it's time to take a look at our Home Depot tools for success.
Well, Vern, to score from here, everybody has to do their job. And you'll see 3 key blocks. Williams, Vogler, and Chance Warmack here. Let's watch how it happens and unfolds. Williams gets his block, Warmack gets his, and then 3 blocks, 1, 2, and 3. And they all fit, and Yeldon gets it into the end zone. Good design, good execution, put it in the end zone.
There's Dean Vogler. Dean Vogler, I beg your pardon. Brian Vogler.
Brian Vogler. Yeah.
I have a friend back in Colorado named Dean Vogler. I never expected to give him a pop.
He's in there now.
Yeah.
Well, right now, we'll be talking about all our friends back home. If Auburn doesn't get this thing churning a little bit, this will get very ugly.
In a hurry. This one taken at the 2-yard line by McCaleb. Coming left. Well, we've got 4 seconds shy of 5 minutes to go. Alabama has run 20 plays and scored twice. And Auburn is about to run its 4th offensive play.
A 3 and out.
You can see that's just symbolic of the kind of season they have had. They did lose at home to LSU by only a 12-10 score, but most recently they were rollered by Georgia 38-0, and probably the worst loss was that humiliating defeat to Texas A&M. McCaleb out of the backfield. Wallace incomplete. Well, 2 years ago, the Tigers won a game here, a thrilling game. They went 14-0, 41 points a game, and since then they've gone 11-13, averaging 23 points a game. It's been a precipitous drop since they won here, having rallied from 24-0 down to win it 28-27 en route to that perfect season. McCaleb is bounced from behind, and then he gets it in front. Ed Stinson, number 49.
See, that's a little bit of the dilemma for Auburn calling plays. If you throw the ball on first down, which you want to keep this, heavy-weighted Alabama front 7. They're up there trying to stop the run and force the pass, and then you get behind the chains with a young quarterback who's not ready for this.
Now Mason comes back alongside Wallace. Alabama threatening a blitz. It's Vinny Sunseri. He backs out now, number 3.
They're going to delay a game, won't they? Or a timeout from the sideline. It probably was. Scott Loeffler probably called the timeout, the offensive coordinator, because he saw it coming.
The new offensive coordinator, by the way. Gus Malzahn moved on to Arkansas State. 14-zip, Alabama.
Tim Brando with this John Hancock update. Well, Stanford held Kenyon Barner in check, roughly half of what he averages. Oregon State not getting it done. He's got 143 yards on the day. That touchdown run makes it 20-7 in the second quarter of that matchup as they look to make themselves available for the BCS title game even with a loss. Back to Vern.
Yeah, you're right, Tim, but boy, do they need some help to get back in the picture after that devastating loss in overtime to Stanford a week ago tonight. Trevon Reed, number 1, goes in motion. 3rd down 8. Stunts. Wallace steps up, drills it deep, has a man open. And a first down at the 40-yard line. Emory Blake makes the catch.
Well, that's very impressive right there because Emory Blake got deep into the secondary. This secondary expected help from that pass rush. They rush 4. Look at Blake take on the double coverage that time and beats Lester. He was very patient with that route. He knew Lester was comboing him, and he ran the stem right at the end of it. He made that fake.
First down for Auburn. Trey Mason. Oh, boy. Xavier Dixon was there to put a quick and sudden stop to that.
Well, if you're going to run the ball and Auburn goes unbalanced on the play, you still have to block someone. And right there, Brandon Foles, the tight end on the play, could not get the block. It was Xavier Dixon, just stymieing that block.
Second down 9. Toss. McCaleb.
No way.
Trey DePriest.
Yes, he did. He backdoored it. What that means is as all the leverage goes wide on a sweep play, the linebacker looks for a crease and comes in behind the play to make the play. Watch, it's going to go wide. He sees the opening and takes the first opening inside out. That's called taking that play on from inside out, and Trey DePriest does it perfectly.
3rd down 13.
Alabama did not get there last time with 4. Let's see if they bring some pressure this time.
Uzomah, the tight end, tight to the right. Wallace with time. Again, he's got a man open.
Yep.
And again, it is Emory Blake, number 80.
You can see the challenge that this Alabama defense has. They're not quite as gifted in the secondary at corner as they've been the last couple of years. And if they don't get pressure with that front pass rush, even a somewhat rudimentary passing game of Auburn gives them problems.
Emory Blake now with 49 catches for the year, by far the leading receiver for Auburn. Play fake. Wallace being chased and fires it at the feet of Jay Prosch, the fullback.
Let me show you what a linebacker does on bootlegs that really takes away the bootleg game. Trey DePriest right there, number 33, finds the crossing route. He thinks it's going to be run. He plays a run, not there, find the crosser. He whips his head around and finds the crossing route to take away the throw. Perfect defense.
And a resultant 2nd down and 10. Prosch comes over near side. McCaleb is the running back. They run it deliberately, fake the handoff, and Wallace plunges over to left guard.
And you wonder if Gene Chizik right now on 3rd down, is this game being 14-0, doesn't already start thinking of, is it 4-down territory? Does he think, listen, I got to make a first down here. I can't punt the ball back to Alabama.
They've not been terribly successful converting at this distance this year.
And you got to believe Alabama's going to come after him on this one.
Blake in tight left. Here comes Alabama. Wallace high, incomplete, 4th down, intended for Trevon Reed, and Milner was defending.
Yeah, this one just kind of flew on him that time. They brought the extra rusher. Wallace got a little bit antsy on the play. I thought he could have gone deep because Clinton Dix kind of bit on the play and could have gotten Emery Blake with a deep ball. See Emery Blake go deep right there. Look at that. That ball, all that space out there, he could have thrown that ball deep on.
And Stephen Clark is going to come on, and they will punt on 4th down. His first was a shank.
On the pass play, you almost could see it. I'm sure Alabama will say defense safe. They won't, they'll look for the fake here. I was almost suspecting a run, to tell you the truth, on 3rd down.
Now flag, and Matt Moore.
Delay game, Auburn. Penalty is declined. Remains 4th down.
With less than a minute remaining in the first quarter of play. Forrest Hill, number 64, is the long snapper.
Another bad one.
Wow. And he gets a little bit of a break. Yeah. Demetrius McNeil, number 12, was down there. Well, Georgia rolled over Georgia Tech today.
Sure did, and they look like they are a quickly improving football team. Florida has the lead, I believe, against Florida State right now, so you can see the quality again at the top of this conference keeps a team like Florida alive in this thing. It really does. As much as people might not like it, it's the way it is right now.
Tracy Wilson reporting that Tasharvin Bell has recovered and is expected to return, perhaps even on this drive, number 22, and he is back on the field. You see him bottom of the screen. Lacey.
That might cost them.
Now Lacey says throw the flag, and Darren Bates.
See, there's one of the things that the officials could help. They're trying to talk about player safety.
Right.
When forward progress is obvious, they need to get that whistle going as fast as they can. And on these plays, clearly everybody heard the whistle on that play.
No, that was Nosa Igwe, number 94, who was the first there.
I have to believe this Auburn defense knows what's at stake right here as they enter the second quarter. Alabama says one more touchdown and this is going to be a cakewalk. Auburn says we want it to be a football game. We got to have a stop.
Well, it is going to be a long walk to the other end of the field. That's the end of the first quarter with the score Alabama 14-0. We'll return to Bryant-Denny Stadium after this message and a word from your local station. Some great Auburn memories in the Iron Bowl. 72 punt, Bama punt. Auburn 2 TDs. 82, Bo Jackson over the top. 89, first Iron Bowl at Jordan-Hare in the rain and the sleet. Auburn wins. And in 2010, down 24-0, Cam Newton. Guess who caught the ball? That would be Philip Lutzenkirchen. And then he executed a dance called the Lutzky. And Philip, of course, injured right now, but making great progress. There's Philip. His sister Ann also happens to be here in the booth with us as one of our temporary CBS employees, and we've all gotten to know the Lutzenkirchen family well and wish Philip the best. On second down and 10, you just knew I had to say Lutzenkirchen 6 or 7 times, right?
I think we should put Ann on right now to tell you the truth. No, some good news. Alabama, obviously, they're ready to play. They're a national championship type football team, especially here at home. But I think if there is a silver lining for Auburn so far is that their offensive line can give Wallace time to throw the ball, and he looks like he can put it in those spots for Blake and some of the receivers.
Well, I'm thinking of Saban's conversation with us, though, about the significance of this down and how the 2 games against LSU and A&M, they didn't execute well on 3rd down.
Same play.
Yeah, and they do here.
Yeah, the little short, shallow crossing route. You can see the Auburn linebackers are a little too nervous. They need to be a little more aggressive. But big picture here, Auburn, you can tell, watching them in the first quarter against A&M when they seemed disorganized, they're refocused. Looks like they got their legs back. I mean, it's going to take a monumental effort to beat this Alabama team.
Indeed. And a first down for Alabama. McCarron fakes to the right, pulls up, now goes back to the right. And it is caught by Christian Jones, who breaks the tackle.
I think Chris Davis and Jake Holland both missed on the play. No one to throw the ball to downfield. 1, 2, third player maybe on that thing, and 1 miss, 2 misses, and they're another second is short.
Second down, 3. Perfect 5 of 5 on 3rd down so far. But they won't have to worry about that now. Here's Lacey. Gets by to Sharvin Bell and is knocked out of bounds by Darren Bates, but a huge gain of 33 yards for Eddie Lacey.
A.J. McCarron, I think, got his ankle stepped on by one of the offensive linemen to start the play. Yes, I think it was actually tripped over Barrett Jones's foot right on the handoff. And then Lacey makes that one cut, runs right through Whitehead that time, gets into the secondary, and boy, I tell you, this Alabama team, when they run the ball well, they're almost unstoppable.
And another first down.
Premier offensive line in football, best blocking tight end maybe in college football.
McCarron into the end zone. Amari Cooper, touchdown, Alabama.
And when they run the ball, they can throw the ball off the run. It's a good thing A.J. McCarron didn't have 2 footballs, because he could have gone to this guy or this guy. Both of them, it was either Kenny Bell or Cooper, both for touchdowns. Could have gone to either guy. I tried to do that telestrate with both fingers, and it didn't work.
No, it was okay.
I should have known.
I'll give you a C+. It wasn't bad. And there's a lot to be said for the effort.
Yes. Well, you run the ball and you have success with the run game. We talked about it in the open. This is how Alabama will win if they get there and beat Georgia. This is how they'll win the national championship. You power, you get those safeties to take a step up, and the talent at quarterback and wide receiver is a tough matchup for anybody. Alabama rolls.
Zip Alabama early second quarter play. An 88-yard drive capped off by the catch from Amari Cooper. A.J. McCarron now 9 of 12 for 125 yards. Kate Foster will kick off. Ricardo Lewis, number 5. Quan Bray, number 4 are the deep men, and this will be Ricardo Lewis. But not for long. Well, Brian Van Gorder, the new defensive coordinator, telling us on the phone that tackling has been a problem.
Well, let me give you an example of it. First down play right here. 2 missed tackles. Instead of it being 2nd and long, it ends up being short yardage. And then you hand it to Lacey, and Jermaine Whitehead misses an easy tackle. That didn't bring his feet at all, and it sets up after you run the ball like that, just calmly in the pocket. I mean, this is like warm-up throw right there. That's how they do it, called pat and go.
And so 21-0, and the ball first down 10 Auburn at the 15-yard line. Flag motion at the right tackle spot. Looked like Patrick Miller moved early. McCaleb, if the play were to stand, is out around the left side. But Miller is a true freshman right tackle, number 51.
I thought he moved too, but I didn't think they threw the flag.
Oh, they did not?
No, they did not.
Saw.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
I thought he got off on a quick start there too. It was right at the snap, but they did not throw it.
You gonna believe me or my lying eyes?
Yeah, well, you were right down here last time I was here on that play.
Right.
Remember that?
Okay, yes. So first down 10. Trey Mason. Not much. C.J. Mosley, leading tackler for Alabama this year. There's Adrian Hubbard, number 42. Mosley comes off. Second down and 8. 21-0. Alabama leading. Trying to get to the championship game against the Georgia Bulldogs, and the winner of that, in all likelihood, will be in the BCS championship game. Here is Mason going left. Interesting, Gary, in our chat with Nick Saban on Friday, talking about where he was Saturday night while chaos was going on. They had 14 or 15 players over to his home. They do every Thanksgiving. He was grading the Western Carolina game on his computer while he had Kansas State Baylor on one set and Oregon Stanford on another.
Yeah, I'll bet he can afford 2 sets and a computer.
From behind.
Again, Alabama in this game, they're either trusting their defensive line to stop the run, but the linebackers after the play-action pass are doing a great job of turning their heads, finding the crossing route, and again having given Jonathan Wallace nowhere to throw the ball on the play-action passes. I think it was Trader Priest again that did it. Very quick thinker, number 33.
Second down 10. Wallace 3 of 8, true freshman out of Phoenix City, Alabama. He'll keep it. He'll pay the price. That's Xavier Dixon, number 47, and C.J. Mosley.
Well, if you're Auburn, you're trying to find every little wrinkle to give Jonathan Wallace an advantage against this Alabama defense. You look on tape, what gave him some problems, maybe a little running quarterback, maybe some crossing routes. None of it today seems to be bothering Alabama, except for those crossing routes on, third down. It's been no big problem for the Alabama defense.
And it's third down 8 here. Reese dismutes over the ball. He'll snap it back in the spread.
Yeah, they're bringing pressure this time, aren't they?
Timeout. Left guard got him. John Sullen.
I think they call timeout before the penalty this time.
Yes, I think so. CBS Sports coverage of the Home Depot SEC will continue after this word from your local station. Saturday, December 8th, the Home Depot College Football on CBS proudly presents one of the grandest spectacles in all of sports. It's the Army-Navy game, America's game, presented by USAA, and we will all be with you from Philadelphia. 21-0 here, Auburn, Alabama, the 77th meeting between these two. Last year's game, a rout down at Auburn. Alabama won that one big. But the 2 games prior to that here, very closely contested. This one not so much so far. Tipped, intercepted. Picked off by Robert Lester. Lester coming left. Now going right. And hit from behind by Greg Robinson. Deflected pass. Robert Lester, 4th interception of the season.
Alabama brings 6 rushers this time, and I think it was Sinceri right on the edge, wrapping around the linebacker inside, but it was 4 vertical. He had Zuma, number 81, on the play, just threw it to the outside just a little bit too much, and Robert Lester gets the gift. If that ball would have been thrown accurately, could have had a big play. I think Lester was a very gifted offensive player in high school, and you could see some of that ability right there after he caught that interception.
And now on 1st down and 10, under 10 to go. Amari Cooper starts in motion. Play action, McCarron. Deep, down the middle, Cooper overthrown.
Well, that Cooper is fast. They say if you talk to the Alabama coaches, they say he is our top-end speed guy. True freshman, and watch him accelerate after he makes the head fake right at the top of his stem, and the ball's overthrown by about 1.5 yards. Whew. You don't know how you can overthrow those guys sometimes.
2nd down 10.
Wish I had time to explain to you why you overthrow the post more than any other throw, but that's another day.
Well, maybe not. don't let that leave your pocket. T.J. Yeldon.
Kenny Bell is limping off. Looks like he hurt his ankle on the play. I don't know why on this running play.
Wow.
But Yeldon behind the block of Michael Williams that time, and really the Alabama coaches, almost anything they're dialing now has the potential to be a big play.
This is Kenny Bell. Speaking of speedsters.
Yeah, look at this.
He's another one.
Oh, yes. Gets
dear.
rolled on the block that time. Missed tackle. And I think Jake Holland rolls up his leg.
Now, Kenny Bell will be assisted off the field. Time called. .9:45 to go in the first half. Amari Cooper, 4 catches thus far.
Well, all those great recruiting classes are being kind of reflected on the field, aren't they? Amari Cooper, 4 catches, as you said. He's a big-time top-end speed. Probably since Julio Jones, he's the first player that Alabama can say can get to the back end of that defense and stretch the field, and he's going to be, and probably already is, a great one.
We will get a report on Kenny Bell as soon as possible. Tracy is working on that, and on 1st down and goal, leading by 21. T.J. Yeldon is the running back. Harrison Jones, the H-back. Play action. They go for Harrison Jones. Did he? Oh, no, I beg your pardon. It's Michael Williams.
Yep. It's senior day.
Yes.
So you always look for those seniors getting those plays. It was kind of a gimmick play right there. They kind of faked a shift in motion. They hid Michael Williams in the back, got matched up that time against Darren Bates, but Darren Bates did a good job not interfering. Don't have to turn around. College football, you can face guard, and he almost came up with it, but couldn't control it.
2nd down and goal. Well played. Yeldon moves back to his right and takes the pile down near the 6, perhaps the 7. See where the spot is. Yeldon and Lacey, very effective duo this year in the backfield.
You know, and you talked about the duos. I don't, you know, as good as they are, and it might be the first time, you know, 2 guys ever go over 1,000. I get it. But I don't think they're to the top end skill of Richardson and Ingram.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's another slight difference from this team to the past, you know, champion team that they had.
Timeout. Well, when you're talking Richardson, Ingram, you've got a Heisman Trophy winner in Mark Ingram and a 3rd place finisher in
and
Richardson.
a high pick in the draft.
Yes. Well, another look at Michael Williams on senior day. Heck of an effort. All right, Tim, thank you. 21-0 here, 8:43 to go in the second quarter. Next Saturday, the road to the Final Four hits the floor running when Corey Jefferson and the Baylor Bears battle John Calipari's Kentucky Wildcats. It's the season premiere of CBS Sports NCAA Hoops next Saturday. Third down goal, Alabama. From the 7-yard line, Auburn 4 down. That's Williams starting in motion. McCarron wide open, Kevin Norwood. And the score goes higher.
Trying to play. I don't know what Auburn was trying to play there. I really don't. I'm trying to figure out the pass coverage, but you know, they had 3 wide receivers, a tight end who's, you know, and a running back. It's like a 3 wide out, a fullback and a halfback basically, and nobody covers one of the wide receivers.
Jeremy Shelley, the snap is up, the kick is up rather, and it's good. After the interception, 29 yards.
The completion's going to go right here, right to the back line, right there. And I don't know what's going to happen with this Auburn, these 2 defenders right here. I don't know which guy has them. They're playing in and out, and they go none and out. You got them, I get them. You got them, I'll take them.
Knife through butter so far. McCarron's 10 of 15. 2 touchdowns.
Tim Brando in New York. To Tallahassee we go after a couple of field goals. A kickoff was fumbled by Florida State, and then Gillisley on the counter toss takes it in. It's 13-0. Now on the College Football Today pregame show, Gary Danielson was talking about the eyeball test issue. Well, Gary, I think the eyeball test gets better for Florida with a win in Tallahassee. The resume is already outstanding. If Notre Dame goes down, I'm just saying.
It's hard to argue with that. I mean, if they're going to pummel them. I will say this, Vern. A lot of time for Florida State to come back, but this has not been a good week for the ACC.
Ooh, you think?
They lose Maryland. Georgia Tech gets slaughtered. They're going to play for the championship in the ACC, and their bell cow, Florida State, is going down at home right now.
I didn't see that one coming, and there's a lot of time left in that game. But
well, the one thing Will Muschamp said is Florida needs to learn to be physical so they can go on the road. And it looks like they're playing physical football.
This is Quan Bray, number 4, on the kickoff. From Cade Foster, he's out near the 24-yard line. And it's time to cue the duck. Comes the Aflac. There you go. And the trivia question, which 2 SEC schools have 3 Heisman Trophy winners? I'm trying to remember during graphics rehearsal yesterday.
No, I knew it, and I don't think anybody needs a hint that are watching this game, to tell you the truth. Hardcore SEC fans watching this game right now.
Trey Mason and Kenny Bell injured a few moments ago. Let's check in with Tracy.
That's right. We saw him being taken to the locker room. It is a lower left leg injury. He is being evaluated, guys, but his return does not look good.
All right, Tracy, thank you. 2nd down 6. Auburn. Jonathan Wallace throwing the ball 3 of 9. First road start. And it comes in the Iron Bowl before a somewhat hostile crowd. And this is Trey Mason, number 21. Wallace, not highly recruited. He was a late signee by Auburn. He actually committed to Central Florida, and then Gene Chizik and his staff decided to go after him. He decommitted and signed, but quite late in the process.
Right. Talked to Scott Loeffler, his coach, said he was a total spread quarterback in high school, but This is not a spread team anymore. This is more of a pro-style team, and this transition has been very tough for this Auburn team to transition from the Malzone offense to this one.
3rd down 3. That one down at the feet of Quan Bray, and it'll be incomplete, and brings up a 4th down with 7:12 to go in the first half.
Yeah, that would have been a nice one for Quan Bray to help out his quarterback and his football team. That was not a great pass, but it was schemed well, wide open. They ran a pick to the outside, and it was not a perfectly thrown ball, but when you're playing against Alabama, you need something.
Stephen Clark on to punt for the 3rd time. Neither has been particularly effective on the first 2. Christian Jones is back to return the punt. Should he be able to do so?
0 for 3.
Yeah. Jones moves up to the 35. Well, I think all of you who follow this sport understand that it's been a tough year for Gene Chizik. He was hired on December 13th to succeed Tommy Tuberville. Jay Jacobs was booed at the airport when he brought Chizik back, who had been there as a defensive coordinator. 8-5 in 09, they won the Outback Bowl, and then the magical season in 2010, they won here 28-27. Newton won the Heisman, a season-long controversy surrounding Cam Newton. 2011, 8-5, and then this absolute total disaster of 2012, and they're 3-8. Lacey. DeSharvin Bell misses another tackle. And Lacey picks up probably 10, 12, 13 extra yards.
Well, I know how a proud group this Auburn football team. My first year doing football, I was working at ESPN in 1991. I did an Auburn game, and I kind of got a sense of the pride that Auburn fans have about their football program. I can't imagine what's going through their head as they watch this total destruction of their football team. Any play that Alabama's dialing up right now looks like a big play.
Play action, McCarron puts it on the line, and Kevin Norwood picks it up. I believe he got a spot that will give them a 1st down.
And this game is kind of hitting form for how this kind of matchup sets as you look at the graphic there of the first 4 drive, just like Georgia did it to them. Vern, in the last 9 contests, when these two teams have been separated by a difference of 5 wins or losses, the average one-loss margin has been 27 points. It's 28 already.
Lacey. Chris Davis almost missed another one. He did get him by the right ankle.
And when you get a little bored about throwing the ball or doing something fancy, you just follow that offensive line, and you can always turn to the offensive lineman, the power, and Lacey and Yeldon.
Lacey again. Down to the 9-yard line. Corey Lemonier, proud member of this defensive unit. Young man whose parents are from Haiti, slightly injured. And here comes Lacey again. And it's going to be 1st and goal at the 3.
They're going to go hurry up again. Can you imagine if Alabama can figure out the up-tempo with the power game? Barrett Jones is coming out. I think he lost his shoe on the play. Oh, man, there'll be a staff meeting up until midnight over that. How we tie the shoes around here.
Ryan, that's part of the process.
Exactly.
Ryan Kelly. Well, Barrett, you're an Outland.
Yep. Pit crew.
Yep. Well, he's already working on his master's degree. One of the bright leaders of this Alabama football team, his brother Harrison, also a part of the team. Time call. See why critics are calling Elementary a great take on Sherlock Holmes. Don't miss a new episode Thursday, only CBS. Tim Brando's been a busy man this weekend. LSU Arkansas yesterday, back in the studio today, and we'll go back to Tim, Spencer, and Archie for the Geico halftime report. That's coming up when we reach that spot. We got a little bit of time to go. Well, Barrett Jones, flat tire. What happened?
Get stepped on, I assume.
Ouch. Yeah. Well,
with the timeout, was able to tie it up and get in there.
Left side, Lacey. Yeah, pretty good pursuit that time. Jonathan Mincy was the first one there, number 6.
Lacey always appears to be gliding, you know, such a big guy, doesn't look like he can get to the corner, but he always doesn't. Big time tackle that time by Mincy. Give him a lot of credit. We talked about the guys maybe not being ready against this physical game, but Mincy was ready.
And here comes Jesse Williams again, number 54. That's Vogler, lined up tight to the right. Left side. Touchdown, Alabama. Lacey for the 6.
We're not only going to get to see the seniors today, we're going to get to meet a lot of freshmen for Alabama today.
Yeah.
I have a feeling.
Well, the point can be, the question can be asked, at what point now, since they seem all but assured of going on to the SEC championship game, will they pull the starters?
Well, they'll go into this, I would assume, into the third quarter.
Halftime,
yeah, at least the third quarter.
Yeah. 35-0.
Good job by Quan Joe, number 71 and 54, Jesse Williams, fitting to the left side. These two guys right there from the blimp. Womack comes out and gets the kick out, and Lacey right behind.
35-0. Sun heading down in the west here in Tuscaloosa, but it remains a bright day for Alabama, 35-0. Well, we selected 3 impact plays of the year. We'd like for you to vote on it. First, Jarvis Jones stripping Jordan Reed near the goal line to preserve that Georgia win back in Jacksonville. Alabama at LSU, T.J. Yeldon. Screen pass from McCarron, 28 yards. Game-winning score in the last minute. And then Johnny Manziel bobbles the ball, picks it up, throws a touchdown pass in the upset win over Alabama. That's just an arbitrary selection by our group, and we would like for you to log on to Facebook.com SEC on CBS, which is the most impactful play this year. Jarvis Jones, T.J. Yeldon, or Johnny Manziel. We invite you to vote.
And I challenge you to come up with another one that's better than those 3.
Yeah.
Impactful. Remember, if Florida beats Georgia, and that play is a big part of it, Florida would be the SEC champion playing in the East. LSU could be alive without that play, screen pass to Yeldon, and Johnny Manziel may win the Heisman with that performance he did against Alabama.
Kate Foster's kick bounces and is picked up by Ricardo Lewis. And he motors out near the 25-yard line.
Well, this whole thing turned around a couple years ago. Remember when Cam Newton was here and had that comeback down 24-0? But unless Cam trots back out on the field, those ugly numbers may continue for a while.
Yeah. 3 punts and interception in the meantime. Touchdowns on all 5 possessions on the other side of the ball. 4:34 to go. Santa Coates, number 18 on the floor, and this is a gift to Mason. Trey Mason comes to the right side.
I think, what was it, the T-shirts or the signs or the kind of the theme of the Alabama football? What was it, Never Again? Was that what it was that Nick came up with again? And since then, this Alabama team has been on a tear. You know, they had the 2 losses, the 1 close loss here to LSU, and tight football game with the field goals, and then the Johnny Manziel phenomenon that we watched here a couple weeks ago.
Well, they lost that primetime game here year before last, 9-6 to LSU, and they got them back in the BCS championship game last year. Interesting, Nick Saban saying to us yesterday, we play better on the road. But they're not playing badly today. This is Trey Mason.
Yeah, Brandon Ivory did a good job that time, too. The backup nose tackle, number 62, stuffing that play. I don't know who else got it. Was it Nico Johnson? But I think up front.
Jeffrey Pagan. Inside,
Pagan makes the tackle, and it says you could just pick a guy up front. I don't even know if it was Geno Smith up there, too. Get to learn some of those new numbers for Alabama. They'll be the next wave coming in.
3rd down 6. That's Geno Smith, number 24, into the corner. Draw play, Mason.
Nice
1st
call.
down, yes.
Nice call. Nice play. Mason very quick on that play. Had the big game early in it this year against Clemson. The Auburn team had trouble running the ball against any of the big defenses. Auburn's had trouble running the football, but that was a good call. Remember back when it was 3rd down and I questioned whether Auburn was in 4-down territory? That's kind of the play that I thought they'd run. Whether it worked or not, I thought I'd try to get it half of it and go for it on 4th down rather than punt.
At that time, it was 4th and 4, and they were at the 41 of Alabama. And they opted to punt, and Clark shanked it. Wallace has to take off, and Jesse Williams is there. Came here from Australia. What is it? One of 13 Australians playing non-punting Australians in the league, in the college football.
Nick calls it a mush rush. That means kind of collapse the pocket, keep your head up, and then if the quarterback comes and tries to run up the middle, be ready to keep that to as small a gain as possible. Exactly what he did.
Under 2 to go. 2nd down 8. Mason. Lost it.
Yes, he did.
Picked up by Milner. Milner down the sideline. Emery Blake knocked him out of bounds. Nico Johnson, the senior linebacker, forced the fumble.
2nd time that Auburn used this nice little shift package. It was effective last time. It was effective again. But this time Nico Johnson gets his hand right on the football, pops loose, and it goes the other way just like that. Milner just pushed out, or that would have been change the scoreboard again.
Nico Johnson, one of the 9 scholarship seniors playing his final home game. We had a chance to meet him yesterday, and he was talking. He's from Andalusia, Alabama, and it came down to Auburn or Alabama. And he just said it felt like family here. He wanted to play here because his mom had type 2 diabetes. Sadly, she passed away 2 years ago, but she did get to watch him play out in Pasadena. And his grandmother and his father are here today on Senior Day.
Well, how'd he get out of that?
I don't know.
I thought that was going to be a no gain or a loss on the play. It's a delayed draw, kind of fake the pass and a handoff on the draw play. Yeldon's there, dips. Oh, he spun out of it. How about that? Thought for sure he was going to get taken for a loss on that play, but he spun, kind of used his momentum going the opposite way and makes a positive play out of nothing.
And that is Darren Bates, the leading tackler for the Auburn Tigers on the field. Bates, just watching Yeldon, is a reminder that he too committed to Auburn at one point and then decommitted. Let's take a look at what happened on the last play. There's Bates.
I wonder if he got sandwiched by his own guy on the play.
Yeah, a little gimpy as he heads to the bench. See if they take him.
I've only seen a couple of plays where, you know, Auburn's been a bit frustrated. You know, for the most part, they're giving it their all. A couple plays, it looked like they kind of had their heads up in the air and not, you know, playing at good pad level. Except for that, it's just been getting blocked. Superior team.
Flag. Well, while they sort this out, let's cue the duck again. And the trivia question, which two SEC schools have 3 Heisman Trophy winners? Well, you might guess that one of them is playing here. Auburn, Pat Sullivan, Bo Jackson, Cam Newton, and Florida. Specializing quarterbacks, Mr. Spurrier, Mr. Werfel, and Mr. Tebow. False start in the last play. This is Christian Jones and another missed tackle. Wow, sloppy.
Well, Chris Davis is having a tough time making the open field tackle on these wide receivers. He's coming up very aggressively, but picking a bad lane and just not coming up with the tackle. Another play that should have been little or no gain ends up getting Alabama into good position to pick up the first down. It has been the theme. They either block it well or they miss the tackles.
McCarron across the middle, caught by Amari Cooper. Another missed tackle and another Alabama touchdown.
Mincy and Holland that hit him, but I don't know what happened to Whitehead that time, the safety, to tell you the truth. One of those, you know, 8-yard slant plays that the receiver bounces off for a touchdown. I think it's 3 guys.
I think you're right. Shelley's extra point is up and good. Cooper with another touchdown grab today.
Mincy, Holland, and Whitehead. 3 guys on 1. Just a nice little easy square in slant pass. 1, 2, 3. Oh.
And sadly, if you're an Auburn fan, that is not the first time we've seen 3 missed tackles on the same effort. McCarron celebrating the TD. How about this? The most points ever given by Auburn in Tuscaloosa, the previous high 4 years ago. Long, sad faces of Auburn fans.
Just think of this. 2 years ago, just 2 years ago, where this football team was.
Kate Foster to kick off.
Alabama has refocused with that win, don't you think, by Stanford? Holy cow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they looked like they looked against Michigan the first game of the season.
Well, and Gary, you made the point that in their games, the win at LSU, but the defeat here, they looked tired.
A little bit mentally fatigued, I think. You know, when you have to play with that, you know, target on your back. And remember, say what you want about Mississippi State. Nick talked to us about that. When Mississippi State came into that game against Alabama, they're undefeated, they're rolling. Who knows? You got to get up. It's a big football game. Then you go to LSU, then you got A&M. That wears on you, and it's why, you know, going undefeated nowadays is just so tough.
And all of a sudden, as Jay Prosh makes the carry, Saturday night, after they had defeated Western Carolina here, there is a flag on the play. They're watching television. We were talking about Barrett Jones. He and his brother watched both games, Baylor, Kansas State, and Oregon, Stanford together, and they heard some noise outside their apartment on the Strip. And the celebration went on here in Tuscaloosa long into the night.
After the play, dead ball, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 62. Half the distance to the goal, second down.
And I would imagine the celebration in Athens that same night went on into the night. Suddenly given a new opportunity. Penalty was called on Chad Slade.
Well, right now, I got to believe Alabama is starting to prepare for Georgia. They're thinking about how they rest their guys for next week. This is already SEC Championship week right now. That's cool.
And Tracy is with Gene Chisholm.
Coach, this is certainly not going to be easy inside the locker room. What do you even say to your team right now?
That we're just going to keep fighting. This is a very good football team. We've had our chances right now. We haven't really made any plays on either side of the ball. Just got to keep fighting. That's all we can do.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Vern?
Tell you what, that's a touch of class. Gene Chisholm willing to stop and have a brief moment with Tracy. That's the end of the first half with the score 42-zip. Let's go to Tim Brando in our New York studio.
You're right, Vern, but that halftime is only part of it. It's going to be worse the rest of this week for Gene Chisholm. Coming up on the Geico Halftime Report, pride, history, and bragging rights are on the line all around the country. Spencer, Archie, and I will have a rundown of Rivalry Saturday after this word from your local station.
Looking long, left side, Cooper behind the defense. He's got it. Touchdown, Alabama.
42-zip as the sun goes down to the west of Tuscaloosa. Let's go down to Tracy Wolfson.
Well, guys, I just had a chance to speak with Nick Saban, and I asked him, how do you approach this game with this big of a lead? And he said, we just need to come out and we need to set the tempo early. He said, we haven't started well in the second half a lot this season. He says, it doesn't matter who plays, whether it's our starters or our backups. We need to play Alabama football. And as we just saw, Kenny Bell coming out on crutches, his foot wrapped up, and it does not look good. He is out for this game, and it is not looking good for next week either, guys. Some really bad news for the Tide.
Yes, that really is. He's one of the 3 or 4 top receivers for this Alabama team, and they continue to have injuries at that specific skill position. Well, Alabama will kick off to open the third quarter. It'll be Cade Foster. As we get set, Ontario McCaleb is one of the deep men. 42-0. Alabama yet to punt in this game. Here's Foster. McCaleb at the goal line. And that's about it. And that's pretty symptomatic of what we've seen all day long. This is about as thorough as I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, now the question is, as Tracy talked about it, how does Nick manage his football team? You know, I think as a coach, you have to always think about, how would I answer a question if I lost one of my key players now? So I think it's going to be 1, maybe 2 series max, and then he'll go to the backups.
They are leading 42-0, and Auburn has the ball as we get set for the first offensive play in the third quarter. Jonathan Wallace, modest numbers in the first half. Handoff Trey Mason. Gary, how about first half trends in this game?
Well, I guess they're all Alabama, aren't they? A.J. McCarron has had it pretty easy, to tell you the truth. He's been on target, but when you have the running game, you can have those type of stats. Lacey already over 100. Yeldon could be if they gave him the ball a few more times. Jonathan Wallace, when he had time to throw it on third down, hit a couple of them, but you know what? He doesn't have the matchup for this defense or the experience, and more than half of the plays have been over the 50-yard line.
Second down, 9. Wallace, that was complete, but they still need a bunch. C.J. Uzomah and Trey DePriest made the tackle.
Well, Jonathan Wallace, has the look. I mean, he throws a good football, good size. You know, he's going to be able to be that type of pro-style quarterback. Now, the problem for Auburn is, all those coaching rumors are going to be, this is going to happen real quick after this football game. Now, what do? Do they go to a spread again? Do they change again? So everybody on this football team is going to have to start to adjust to the new Auburn football style, whatever it is.
Third down, 5.
Yeah, if I was the guys turning around and yelling at my
delay game. Number 2 offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
I'd ease up a little bit. You know, they got another of the older guys turning around and yelling at their quarterback, Jonathan Wallace. Remember, this kid was in high school just a year ago. His start on the road here against Alabama, and all of us would be in a tough position as a true freshman with as little experience as he has.
3rd down 10. Uzomah, the tight end, to the right side. 4-man rush. Wallace fumbles.
Yes, he
I
did.
think it bounced right back to him, but it'll be 4th down. Adrian Hubbard, number 42, with the tackle.
Smukes that time does what a good teammate should do. Goes over there, helps his quarterback up. It's a rough day for somebody that doesn't have a lot of experience at that quarterback. Got to stick together, and now you're playing basically for your teammates. You know, you're not going to win the football game. You're just trying to say, listen, I owe it to you to give my best effort in this football game so that we can all look each other in the locker room and say, I tried my best.
Stephen Clark on to punt. Forrest Hill snaps it back. And Clark finally got one high, not terribly deep, but it is not returned. Christian Jones was deep. Well, of course, there's so much speculation about Gene Chiswick's status. Already, Derek Dooley has been fired at Tennessee, Joker Phillips at Kentucky, and John L. Smith informed after the game yesterday that he will not return at Arkansas, that he was hired as an interim coach this year after the Bobby Petrino mess in the spring. And
you know, one of the things that, as we watch it, Alabama does have their you know, regular players out on the field to start this 3rd quarter.
Lacey.
But let's talk about the head coaching jobs in this conference. I mean, you can see from those names right there. I mean, Arkansas just a couple of years ago were 10-win teams. Just a year ago, they were number 3 in the country before Petrino, ended up getting fired. One thing about this conference is, if you're not pretty good or good, pick the adjective you want. You get pummeled. You know, I mean, it changes real quick in this conference.
That's a good point about Arkansas and the current state of Auburn. Here's Lacey trying to dance out of the tackle, but Jermaine Whitehead was able to hang on. Now that signature spin move of Eddie Lacey, this time not quite as effective.
But he does avoid the big hit by doing that. It doesn't take a lot of punishment.
3rd and 1. Lacey again. And Lacey for the 1st down has 120 yards before that carry. Alabama is 8 of 8 on 3rd down. I'm laughing because Eli Gold, the Alabama broadcaster, made us do a quick stop by. And he said on his way into the locker room, Chris Stewart, the sideline reporter for Alabama, stopped Nick Saban and said, well, what are your concerns? He says, we got to get off the field on 3rd down.
Right.
Defensively.
Those 2 passes by Wallace still bothering me.
1st down and 10. McCarron heaves it deep and too far to the right. Kevin Norwood was in the neighborhood. Chris Frost, number 17, had the pressure.
So how does a team like Auburn fall so fast? I mean, that's the question all the Auburn fans and maybe, you know, a lot of fans of college football want to know. Remember that national championship team came out of nowhere.
Right.
I mean, it was built around Cam and Nick Fairley. Remember that team, Nick Fairley and Cam turned pro. They lost 24 seniors off of that team. Even though they were reloading what was thought to be good recruiting classes, it was too much of a rebuild. And when Gene Chiswick and Gus Malzahn kind of parted ways last year, Chiswick, a defensive coach, kind of became less enamored with the spread. He wanted to slow it down. He had to go a different direction because Gus Malzahn's going to run that up-tempo spread.
Right.
It was a complete rebuild for Auburn, and they are really paying for it this year.
Lacey now over 1,000 for the season. Yeldon hoping to get there as well. Well, just as a reflection of the relative success of the two programs since 2009. Now, keep in mind that Newton and Fairleigh were both first-round draft picks, even though they came out early. Now, here's Yeldon splitting wide to the right, and McCarron goes that way, and centers for the shorter of the receivers, Kevin Norwood. Just to underline Gary's point, since 2009, and keep in mind Fairleigh and Newton were first-round picks. Alabama has had 11 first-round picks. Auburn has had 10 total picks.
And everybody in this conference is feeling that. You know, Tennessee is having to go through it right now. Arkansas, as they rebuild, I mean, it just happens really fast around here. Even Ole Miss, I mean, remember just a couple of years ago, that was thought to be in the right direction. All of a sudden it imploded, and they have to change coaches real quick.
And the first down is achieved by Alabama. We had a very comfortable chat with Gene Chizik on the phone on Tuesday, and he said, we will talk. Jay Gogue, the president of the university, Jay Jacobs, the athletic director who hired Gene 4 years ago. We will talk as we do at the end of every season. I will have a chance to present my case for staying on. They will tell me what their concerns are. Obviously, he's not helping his conversation with this game. Norwood, touchdown, Alabama.
Backups, get ready for Alabama. Norwood comes out, a little head fake, and runs right by Holsey. True freshman Joshua Holsey that time just lets that receiver. I had a coach when I first got into the NFL. My first coach used to say, when the wide receiver gets to your toes, you're beat. Because when you start to flip your hips, turn, and when you turn, he's by it. And you could see Holsey got his hips turned too late. Touchdown.
The route continues. 49-0 on Norwood's catch. And McCarron having a wonderful afternoon.
Let's get back to the Iron Bowl. Vern?
Tim, nice note. Jack Nicklaus' grandson.
Remember that. Remember when he signed.
A.J. McCarron probably through for the day. And the juniors had some nice numbers he posted today. 4 touchdowns. Just a moment ago.
He's telling everybody what I should be saying, I guess. I don't know, right? This is what Gary's saying upstairs right now. But I didn't know what to say.
Here's McCaleb. Hit. Dropped. Ha-ha. Clinton Dix. Real name, Hashawn.
Yeah,
and the new quarterback now, Kyle Frazier.
And a bunch of new players in for Alabama as well. It looks like Nick has put his second team on the football field, too. Denzel Duvall's in there, number 30. They got a bunch of different players in for Alabama. Their second unit for sure is on the field.
Kyle Frazier was the starter at the beginning of the year. He started much of last year. Much of it was recruited as a spread quarterback. Threw for 11,000 yards in high school, but has never reached the expectations as the quarterback at Auburn.
That was close.
Yes, it was. Closest man then was Nico Johnson.
A little bit of a bootleg pass. Kyle Frazier, remember, he started out the season as the starter. They've used 3 different starters this year. Ball slightly behind, and you'll see McCaleb could not make the catch.
Frazier replaced as the starter after that defeat to Texas A&M. That was a 63-21 final.
Here's that shift they've been using. They've been running the ball to the left on this. They do it again.
Mason across the 20. And let's get more on Kyle Frazier. Here's Trace.
Well, you see Frazier out there. That's because quarterback Jonathan Wallace is dealing with an arm injury. They have not ruled him out for the rest of the game, though, so we may see him back out there later on, guys.
All right, Tracy, thank you. Frazier out of Springdale, Arkansas. And Wallace for the day, 4 of 11 for 48 yards. The true freshman making his first start on the road for Auburn. Trevon Reed, number 1, in motion. Draw play. But not for very much, huh? Trey Mason. Quentin Dial, number 90, made this one. Sunseri's on the field. And it'll be 4th down. Stephen Clark. Christian Jones back to return the punt.
There's a good one. Didn't get it to turn over, though.
Gets a bit of a bounce. McCaleb down to put a hand on it. Killed the play. 41-yard punt. Nothing on the return. 7:10 remaining in the 3rd quarter. All Crimson Tide. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Dodge, Bud Light, Verizon, and by Napa. $49-0 Alabama. 7:10 to go, 3rd quarter. Senior day here in Tuscaloosa. 9 scholarship seniors introduced before the game, including Nico Johnson. That's his dad to your right, and his grandmother down in the front. Barrett Jones, All-American, has played tackle, guard, and center with his parents, hometown of Memphis, Tennessee. For more, let's go outside the huddle. Here's Tracy Wolfson.
Well, thanks, Vern. This senior class may be small, but they've made a huge impact. They've won 46 games and lost just 5. That's crazy. 2 national titles and could be on their way to a 3rd, and they were part of the first 14-win season in Alabama history. Head coach Nick Saban couldn't be prouder of them.
I really have a special place in my heart for all the seniors, all that they've done, all the work that they've done, and the faith, trust, and confidence they had to come to the University of Alabama when they came, because it wasn't like it is now. You know, everybody wasn't winning, 10, 11, 12 games every year. A lot of people want to be a part of that, but these guys believed and trusted in what the program was going to develop into, and I have a tremendous respect for each one of them for that.
As well he should. There's Jesse Williams, import from Australia. And the new quarterback on the field. Blake Sims is in now, replacing A.J. McCarron. Sims, a 6'1 sophomore. And Kenyon Drake, number 17, goes left. Tackle made by Jake Holland.
Blake Sims is taking over that number 2 spot. Him and Filipili both are kind of shared, but I do believe in a high-stakes game, if they needed a change-up guy, I think it would be Sims would be the main guy and Ely would be the change-up guy if something happened to McCarron.
Sims quite capable as a running quarterback. He'll hand it off to Drake, who cuts back to the left. Well, let's get another update on Florida State, Florida. Once again, here's Tim in New York.
All right, Vern, Gary, we told you the Gators had fumbled and Florida State was inside the 5. A little bootleg action for E.J. Manuel. 17 unanswered in Tallahassee. It's now 17-13. Meanwhile, Oregon is rolling it up, and they should. It is a beauty contest for them at 48-17 against the Beavers. Back to you.
All right, Tim, thank you. 3rd down and 3 here.
we've seen a little bit of Kenyon Drake, number 17, when he's coming to games late. Vern, I watched him at practice as Sims runs the read keep. A little bit of a, Cam Newton back at Auburn. Basically, that play really destroyed Auburn, or well, actually not just, really rode Auburn to a national championship. But Kenyon Drake is going to be, even the players on the practice field kind of marvel at Drake, what he's going to be in the future.
Drake, a freshman, true freshman, number 17, out of Powder Spring, Georgia.
Fast, makes his cuts almost full speed. He was making the #1 defense look, a little bit, normal when he had the ball.
There's Drake again. Expect we'll see a heavy dose of him. Gabe Wright makes the tackle. Well, we're late in the season, quite obviously, but among the injuries affecting a certain position, Alabama did lose 2 running backs this year, D. Hart and Justin Fowler. They thought Fowler might be a great H-back and lost for the year. 2nd down and 7. Blake Sims chased, lets it go, incomplete.
Roughing the passer, hit on the head. Bootleg play, throw, gets hit in the head to head. Yep, helmet to helmet by Lemon on that time. Corey, right?
Corey Lemonier.
Corey Lemonier.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, number 55 of the defense. Hit above the shoulders, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
It's hard not to think forward, though. Georgia's getting better as a football team. It looks like, they found themselves ever since that speech, that Georgia speech, when they started to play more physical football, beat Florida. They've been rolling it in some big games. They should physically be able to stand up to this Alabama football team.
Play action, Sims will keep it. And darts out of bounds just in front of D. Ford, number 95. Well, Georgia's one defeat this year. Of course, they were shellacked at South Carolina, and that's when the speech was made, called out as soft. And Saban's Alabama team, the one defeat they have is at home against Texas A&M, 29-24. 2nd down 4. Sims. Joshua Holsley. Well, the Crimson Tide, 6-1 in conference. Georgia, big win today, 7-1 they finish. Points per game even. Yards per game, slight edge to Georgia versus ranked teams. I think it'll be a heck of a battle.
I do too. Remember, I was actually searching for the name. The truck actually helped me. Is Sean Williams, is the guy who gave the speech at that time. They're playing a little too soft. It was all over everywhere. Remember, people speculated, oh, that's going to cause divisiveness and everything. All it's done is those teams has kind of just taken it from there and gone on and become the physical presence they wanted to be from the start.
Blake Sims gets another 3rd down conversion. I don't think Nick Saban will take issue with the 3rd down play of his team now. They're perfect on offense, 11 of 11.
Yeah, here's the zone read again. Reading the end man alliance. That's an easy one that time. Just watch the guy that hit you in the head last time. He's not there. Just run where he left. And, we've been thinking back, when was the last time that Georgia was in a position to play their way in the national championship? We got to go all the way back to 1982, Herschel Walker's year, for a chance for Georgia to control their own destiny and play their way into a national championship.
And, of course, they did win the title in 1980. Here's run on the right side for a couple of yards. That's Kenyon Drake again. And they're unraveling the 3rd quarter expeditiously now. 2:25 and the clock running. Second down. Drake.
And the ball came out.
Yes, it did.
And I think that Auburn finally got a turnover. Kenyon Drakes gets the handoff, kind of stretches it, and as he turns it back, someone from the inside got his hand right on the football on the tackle.
This is good because it gives Nick Saban a coaching point. Don't forget, later in the game, the play of the game presented by Napa Auto Parts. We're going to let the production team in the truck select that one. You and I are going to lay out, see what they come up with. Jonathan Wallace, Tracy reported they had an arm injury. So obviously okay. We expected he might get back. Here's Trey Mason for a couple of yards. Well, obviously, Notre Dame playing at USC tonight. Alabama, Georgia will meet next week. Let's talk about how these teams can get into the BCS title game.
Well, 3 teams control their own destiny. They win, they're in. So that's easy for those guys. But what happens if somebody stumbles? So let's take a look at some of the other teams that might have a chance to play their way into the championship.
And we'll do so after this play. Wallace, incomplete. Okay, that's just, for example, Florida.
Well, of course, Florida is going to need a lot because, you know, what happened with the rematch last year. But let's look at it. They've got a great resume. Of course, they got to win today. They need Notre Dame to lose, I believe. And then they've got to win that one-loss beauty contest. And as, you know, you get a Brando even said, you know, if they beat Florida State, is that enough of a beauty contest considering that their resume is so good because the computers love Florida?
Yes.
Now, what's going against them is they're in the same conference. Will there be backlash from what happened last year?
They're down 7. Wallace, right side.
Nice
He's got
throw.
Emery
Nice
Blake.
throw.
Yes.
That's about as good as you can do it.
And that'll be a first down.
Yeah, good protection. Came inside the zone. This is how you attack the double 2-deep zone. Throw the ball hard, the shake route to the outside. You come inside, you run that ball to the outside against the safety. And Emery Blake again, the old pro for Auburn, gets it done.
Well, his dad was.
Yes. Yeah, that's all right. You can say that.
Yes. Quarterback. Wallace at quarterback. Emery Blake, by the way.
Tyler Bray and I kind of phrase it differently than other people.
Mason, spin move. Learned that from Eddie Lacy. Watching video. Let's go back and make the case for Oregon.
Yes. Now, well, Oregon, you know, that loss, that was really hurt. And, of course, they need a loss. Now, we said 12-1 or 11-1 because I think their best chance is for them to get into the Pac-12 championship, and they need help for that. They need UCLA to win that football game today for them to get in there. And then it becomes that one-loss beauty contest, and they have to hope that the voters might want to see somebody else besides the SEC versus the SEC.
And we have reached the end of the third quarter, but I might add, not the end of your explanation.
Do I get a break for a while? Or
no, it's every play. So we know you want to just tighten your seatbelts for that. We'll return right after this word from your local station. Alabama memories in Iron Bowl history. Back in 71, Johnny Musso, 2 touchdowns. In 81, Bear Bryant recorded his 315th win, most of all time at that time. Van Tippen's 52-yard field goal. Greg McElroy finds Roy Upchurch from 4 yards out to give the Tide 26-21 come from behind win against Auburn. And we begin the fourth. Excuse me, Gary.
That was the drive before this year's drive.
Yeah,
remember?
That's right. Second down 5. We begin the fourth. Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson, Tracy Wolfson. Play action, Wallace. That one could be picked off. And it is. Clinton Dix.
You like saying that, don't
I do.
Well, with all the motion there, the safeties for Alabama switched and switched back and switched again. But Clinton Dix stayed with the football, beat the receiver to it that time, and Vinny Sunseri kind of pummels him when he's on the ground. That was worth it. Don't worry about it, Jonathan. Throw it up. Maybe your guy gets it.
Let me make sure I get the name right. Clinton Dix. We'll move over to the Georgia Dome next Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern, as Alabama takes on Georgia for the SEC championship game. And you see Alabama 8 appearances in that game, second most in SEC history. Blake Sims, the quarterback, on first down following the interception. He goes right and is caught and dropped for almost no gain. I'm just curious, your early thoughts about Georgia and Alabama.
Is it Dix, Clinton? Clinton, Dix. Clinton, Dix, We'll get it by next week. We will get it by next week.
You just follow where I lead sometimes.
I think the two best teams are playing. I really do. Yeah. I know, Florida's there. They could have won that football game. But I think at this time right now that Georgia is playing their best football of the year. Alabama has a new breath of fresh air for their game right now. They can see the finish line. It's like a guy who's been through the marathon. Since that game against Michigan that started the season, they have been chased all year. And now they feel like, let's get this baby on.
And that one is intercepted. Did he? No, he was out of bounds. Pass intended for Shin. And almost picked off by...
He only needed 1 foot in, but it looked like the foot out of bounds landed before the one that landed inbounds.
McCarron's work is through for the day. It's third down 9.
Well, Aaron Murray is so looking forward to this football game because last year he started off that game against LSU putting the football right there. He had all those drops early, and then he had the turnover. And, the punt returns put Georgia away.
Timeout called by Alabama. Saban's got some reason to be concerned.
And now it's time for our Geico game recap.
It does seem a long time ago, doesn't it? Here's Eddie Lacy on the first drive of the game, 7-0. T.J. Yeldon on the second drive of the game, 14-0. A.J. McCarron to Amari Cooper on the third drive of the game for Alabama, 21-0. A.J. McCarron on the fourth drive of the game. Kevin Norwood. Eddie Lacy on the fifth drive of the first half, 35-0. A.J. McCarron on the next drive of the first half, 29-0. That's the score at the break. And then McCarron with a 38-yard pass to Kevin Norwood. And that is where we stand, 49-0. Go back to 1948, the largest margin of victory. Remember, these two teams did not play from 07 to 47. This was the renewal of the rivalry in 48. The game played at Legion Field in Birmingham, and Alabama won that one by 55. They lead this one by 49. Sims. No Osa Igwe, number 94 for Auburn.
Well, as this conference is going to look at some new coaches in this league next year, aren't they? That is going to be, and if you're a coach out there, as you take these jobs, you know the stakes around here. You know, I mean, in this league, you either challenge for national championships or they're looking for another coach after 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, the pay scale is pretty enormous, but the consequences of failure are equally enormous. Here's the punt. You know, Nick Saban is the highest paid coach in college football.
Yep.
We asked him yesterday if he talks at all about the salary. He said, I just think it's pretty good value received.
It's all about value. There's Kirby Smart. He might be one of those guys that somebody's calling about. Could Kirby end up being one of those guys that people are talking about?
Time call. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Dr. Pepper, Russell Athletic, Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry, and by Sonic. Now let's refresh your memory on the BCS standings. Of course, new ones will come out Sunday night. Notre Dame, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, currently the top 4. Look at this sign. Thank you, Stanford and Baylor. And those thoughts would be echoed in Athens, Georgia as well. First down 10. Emory Blake starts in motion. Senior wide receiver Trey Mason bobbles it, picks it up, and then fumbles out of bounds. It will remain in possession of Auburn. Now Red Lobster presents today's scholar athlete, Ashton Richardson from Auburn. Major in animal sciences, 3-time academic SEC honor roll. He was interviewed for a Rhodes Scholarship. Sadly for Ashton, did not receive it, but what an accomplishment for him to get to the interview process. Red Lobster's commitment to the investment of our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to Auburn University's General Scholarship Fund.
Wasn't it just a couple of years ago that Greg McElroy was doing it the same week also?
Absolutely true. Jay Prosh.
You know, you mentioned Athens is thanking him. Of course, South Bend, Indiana, and all those Notre Dame fans are also thanking Baylor and Stanford because that put them into the catbird seat.
And they, of course, have a game tonight against Southern California in the Coliseum in Los Angeles. We saw Notre Dame back in September 1st in Dublin, Ireland. And I don't know how you felt, but after that game, I thought their schedule was so difficult, I couldn't see them at this point.
It did look imposing at that time. I agree.
Third down. Wallace will tuck it and run, and he is caught and dropped by Jeffrey Pagan, number 8.
At this point in the game, when Wallace looks downfield, instead of seeing the open grass, he's seeing the red crimson jerseys over there, and he's a little bit shy about letting that football go right now.
Stephen Clark. Ouch. 10:49 to go. 49-0. Alabama. 49-0 Alabama. They're going to win this over Auburn, and one of the tough spots is the absence for the Tigers of their tight end Philip Lutzenkirchen, out for the season, had hip surgery after week 6. And Philip is with Tracy Wolfson.
Well, thanks a lot, Vern. And Philip, first off, how's the hip feeling?
It's good. I'm about a month out of surgery, so just rehab, doing a lot of underwater workouts on the treadmill, and it's been going good.
What's the timetable for the future for you?
I go see the hip specialist again, Dr. Emblom, here in Birmingham on December 4th, so hopefully he gives me the go-ahead to start running again, maybe jogging, and then hopefully be ready for Combine, if not Senior Bowl.
We have to ask, this has been obviously a difficult season. When you look back, though, what stands out to you? Because you still won a national championship with this team. So what memories will you take away?
Definitely that 2010 season and beating Alabama here 2 years ago. That's definitely one of my favorite memories. But aside from that, just 4 years. I'm graduating early in December, so I've just had a great 4 years here, and I'll look back on it.
Let's watch us play.
That's just short of the first down. Trace, go ahead.
Well, it's obviously been a difficult season, as we just mentioned. When you look at it, how do you see this Auburn team in the future for what it holds?
Like you said, it's been a tough year, but, you know, I feel like we've gone into each game trying our hardest, and we just haven't had the ball go our way a few times. And you know, we got a great group of guys, a lot of talent, and you know, we need to look back on this season, forget about it, and look forward to next year.
I can't let you go without asking you, with the hip surgery, are you still able to do the Lutzie?
I haven't been able to do the Lutzie since 2 years ago, so I don't think I'm ever going to pull it out again.
All right, thanks a lot. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Tracy. I'm guessing that Philip could still do it. He doesn't want to do it anymore.
Anne's up in the booth. She wants to know if you were messing with her iPad last week. She's a little upset with you.
Philip Lutzenkirchen, sorely missed as a leader of this team and one of the fine players.
And Vern, you made him famous, or he made you famous, one of the two, on that touchdown. You found his name, what, fourth string or something?
Yeah. Actually, that was his freshman year.
Yeah, you counted him off.
Freshman year,
Yep.
yeah. Lutzenkerchen. Mandela's on to punt on 4th and 4.
I have a feeling he's going to play a lot more football.
Hand. Oh, I thought maybe his foot was on the line. No, it was not. How quickly can you say, ha-ha, Clinton Dix?
1st and 10.
And now it's time for the plays of the game, presented by Napa Auto Parts with the calls. Eli Gold of the Alabama Radio Network.
Lacey, the single setback. Here now on the play action fake. A.J. looking long. Left side. Cooper behind the defense. He's got it. Touchdown, Alabama. As A.J. looks, throws. Cooper. Nice grab. Breaks 3 tacklers. He's gone. Touchdown, Alabama. 29 yards. My goodness, what a beauty.
One of many today. Amari Cooper from A.J. McCarron. And now Auburn starts at its own 1. Jay Prosch, the fullback. Jeffrey Pagan, number 8, a part of that.
Well, you know, as we were watching Philip do that interview with Tracy, I couldn't help but think about Gene Chizik and, you know, what he's been here at his career at Auburn. It was a controversial hire, as you talked about it, but he did take them all the way up to win that national championship. You know, what must be going through his head? As this program, just 2 years ago, he's thinking, I've got this baby, you know, almost on autopilot. 4 straight recruiting classes up there. And all of a sudden it just disintegrates.
And off left side. This is Trey Mason, who was attempting to go over 1,000 for the season. Florida State. Let's get an update. Here's Tim Brando.
Vern Gary off an E.J. Manuel fumble. 1 play later, well-designed play. You've seen this from Brent Peace before, haven't you? 37 yards, Mike Gillisley, his 2nd touchdown of the day. 23 carries, 137 yards. 23-20 to score. 11 minutes left. Back to you.
Wow. Thank you, Tim.
It's like the old days watching Florida State, right?
On 1st down 10. Here's Mason. Well, take a look at the computer rankings of the BCS top 10. Look at Notre Dame, Alabama. The computers love Florida, and they detest Florida State.
That West Virginia non-game. Remember, Florida State had this West Virginia scheduled. West Virginia goes into the Big 12, cancels the game, and that costs Florida State. They had to scrounge around for someone to play, and they never recovered.
Well, they wound up with Savannah State.
Yes, and of course they got to still beat Florida to make any meaning to it, but...
Flags.
False start. Offense. Number 71, 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Well, let's take you back to our CBS poll results. What's the most impactful play in the SEC this season? T.J. Yeldon, the screen pass, 28 yards, that allowed Alabama to defeat LSU.
The Alabama precincts have voted.
I think you're right. Well, they're the ones who are still watching. Mason. Nothing. Jeffrey Pagan, number 8, with the tackle. There's T.J. Yeldon. Took that screen pass. You remember that last drive after a missed 45-yard field goal in Death Valley. McCarron hit Kevin Norwood on 3 straight plays down the right side, and then pressure came from John Chavis and LSU, and Yeldon caught his screen pass and blasted into the end zone from 28 yards out. Alabama won. 3rd and 15. Mason. He's getting close to his 1,000-yard goal for the season. He needed 80 coming in. He's too shy.
Good eye, Vern. And, you know, we talked about Gene Chizik, and as you see, 998 right there. You know, and also think about the pressure as Nick Saban was talking about this program that he built when he was talking about his senior class. I mean, when you go to these big schools, these big name schools, yes, you get the first pick of players, but you also get all the pressure and expectations of coaching at these places. You know, if you don't win them all or just maybe one loss, it's looked on as a bad year. And boy, that's a strain on any coach, and Nick has built this program with that understanding.
Thanks to you, our generous viewers, the American Red Cross has been helping thousands affected by Hurricane Sandy to get back on their feet. On this Thanksgiving weekend, we want to thank all of you for making a real difference. Learn more at redcross.org. CBS Cares. Blake Sims still at quarterback. Kenyon Drake still at running back for Alabama with 4:33 to go. To the 22-yard line.
I'm telling you, when this kid grows up, when he gets about 10 or 15 more pounds and is able to take those SEC hits, number 17 is going to be a big-time player for Alabama. He's got tremendous cutting ability, great vision. He is going to be a special football player. Of course, they'll be bringing in another crew to challenge him, too.
Well, for the season, 266. That run, 37 yards. And the tackle made by Ladarius Owens. A 6'1", 204-pound freshman. True freshman. First down and 10. Drake. Flag is down.
You know, Vern, I was looking at A.J. McCarron's stats and thinking about what type of resume he could have.
Offside.
Now, think about this. He's going to have his team in the national championship game if he can beat Georgia next week. So that means he has an opportunity to play. It's in his own hands with a good football team to do back-to-back national championships. He also was a redshirt freshman on a national champion on his freshman year, so that's 3 out of 4. If he comes back, they're only losing 9 seniors, he could make a run out of 4 out of 5 national championships. And 3 in a row as the starter.
That's astounding.
Yeah, that's something that's UCLA national championships in basketball type record.
Yes. Here's Drake. First down. Well, McCarron was mentioned. He was in the conversation about the Heisman.
He was my pick.
And then he threw the 2 interceptions in the loss to A&M. And Heisman hopefuls, you still got him on the list?
I think he's a long shot now, to tell you the truth. I mean, Marquise Lee is another guy from USC that's going to be on there. That game tonight, I think, you know, I really think he needed to go undefeated. He doesn't have the great quarterback stats, but, you know, he could come back another year, go for it next year.
Yeah. And Manti Te'o with a big game tonight. Might work his way toward the top of the list. Here's Ben Howell, number 34, and Johnny Manziel, redshirt freshman quarterback at A&M. What a magnificent impact he has made this year. Yeah,
his stats are just incredible. I mean, he plays, you have to say, in a quarterback-friendly offense, but so what? I mean, the stats he's putting up are comparable and is superior, even almost, to, you know, Cam Newton and Tim Tebow, what they did. Tebow, the surprising thing on his stats, if you look at him, his passing yards versus his rushing yards, everybody thinks it's the opposite way. Tim threw for a lot more yards in college than people give him credit for.
Ben Howell still in at the running back spot, number 34. Second down and goal. And it will be 3rd down and goal. And please stay tuned for the Jeep postgame show on CBS Sports. Back to Tim and Spencer and Archie. Scores and highlights from around the country. 90 seconds to go. Barrett Jones in his final regular season game. He went to the Greg McElroy School of Courtesy.
Yes, he did.
He came in to say goodbye to all of us yesterday, and we reminded him that if they win, we'll see him. Oh, well, forget the goodbye.
Right. He's got quite a resume, too, making All-American at 3 different offensive line positions. How about that? I mean, I don't know. He hasn't made it this year at center. I think he probably will, but he made it at guard already and tackle.
Here's Howell. To the 5-yard line with less than a minute to go. Well, Gene Chizik lost 38-0 to Georgia November 10th. Look at that. And the worst season almost by unanimous acclaim was not a claim. Want to help me out here?
It's a long game.
Thank you very much.
It's 40-0 here, 49-0. Unanimity?
I don't know. Clinton Dix. Obviously, this Alabama crowd would like to see. Now they're going to take a knee. Good.
Well, that's going to mean a change of. Isn't that going to change it? And Auburn's going to have to come out, or are they going to just run the clock off? There's 11 seconds. They should just run it off.
Yeah.
Meaningless.
That's what Saban's arguing. I know. We're trying to let the clock run out. So because of the knee taken on 4th down, the clock by rule stops and the change of possession happens. Here's the ultimate anticlimactic play. Unless
he gets 2 yards.
Unless he needed.
Exactly.
You know what?
That's exactly what Auburn did. Got him 1,000 yards.
Trey Mason winds up with 83 yards, and he goes over 1,000 for the year. Chiswick, Saban at midfield. Now let's take a look at the player of the game presented by Russell Athletic. A.J. McCarron, 15 of 21. Key stat there, 4 touchdown passes, 2 to Amari Cooper, 2 to Kevin Norwood, no interceptions. .zip. All Alabama. They go to Atlanta to take on Georgia next Saturday at 4 o'clock. Second ranked against the third ranked. That ought to be some encounter in the Georgia Dome. For Gary Danielson and Tracy Wolfson, Vern Lundquist saying so long from Tuscaloosa. The final score, 49-zip. The Jeep postgame show next after these messages and a word from your local station.